Hi there Transformers fans, I'm David Lees, and in this video I'll be doing an overview of the first 4 Transformers comics in the new series, A Bold New Era. I've been doing issue by issue reviews for the comics as they've been coming out. Please check out the videos on my channel. And I thought this would be a good time to review where we're up to see how the new comic series is doing, where it's going, what it's saying, and look at the bigger picture. I'll throw in some opinions and summarise what we've seen and read so far. And the bigger picture is probably, generally, a large empty planet, thanks to our main character, Rubble. I am still undecided about Rubble, but I am coming to the conclusion that the most interesting way they can take his character forwards is to turn him into Rumble. I know I said way back that it was the wrong colour and everything, but I'm seriously starting to think it might be the best way to develop his character. Get him into a conversation with Megatron and Soundwave, wind him up, deceive him, turn him against the Autobots. There's some foreshadowing of that. There's my mentor does not know everything kind of thing from issue 2, but we'll see. Otherwise, Rubble is the main culprit in the first big problem I have with this new comic book series, which I am titling Walking and Talking. Nothing is happening. Nothing. Or if it is, then this bold new era is going to last for a long time and become a bold old era because the characters, like the plot, are moving at a glacial pace. Here are 2 characters walking and talking. Here are 3 characters walking and talking. 4, or 5 if you count Rubble, who isn't even moving, walking and talking. They're called Transformers, not walkers. And on that subject, we're getting, on average, 1 transformation per issue. It's kind of scary. In the first issue, we had Windblade, when she transforms and descends on Bumblebee and Rubble. In issue 2, we had an unspoken transformation. There was no dialogue about it, but Gears in the background transforms from robot to truck. Issue 3, we have Bumblebee, who says his wheels aren't as fast as Blur's, and I mentioned that in the issue 3 review. He hasn't got wheels. That really annoyed me. Issue 4, we had Windblade, Chromia, and another one as well. So there's quite a lot of occasional transforming going on at the rate of, like I said, 1 issue. Now, if there was truly nothing happening, if there's nothing at all going on, this would be dull and I wouldn't even be recording this video. But there are some things that are happening as well. The writers are mixing it up with some strange, abrupt, unpredictable events. They aren't cliffhangers, they're totally out of the blue, and really they just have shock value only. Issue 1, the death of Brainstorm, which, by the way, nobody has got a clue about, and it's really making the Autobots look completely inept, incompetent, and dumb, to put it simply. Issue 2, we had the explosion at Megatron's rally, and I'll talk about that more a little later. Issue 3, we have Orion Pax going off to see Cadexa. Who? What? What on earth? Totally out of the blue, totally random. Throw in a completely unrelated plot item and see what happens. Issue 4 does have a change of pace. We have Brainstorm's funeral, the new forging, some standing around and talking. So that's kind of what's going on. 1 new sort of key plot element per issue. It's hardly fast. Worse than that, we have the non-events. Stuff that is just simply filler. There's the Born Scavengers. There's the Moon, which has wings. I mentioned at the time, if that is not blown up at some point in the next 6 to 10 issues, I will be sadly disappointed. It just strikes me as a big target. They've spent pages and pages showing it, talking about it, having Wheeljack wax lyrical about it. Oh boy. The Skitter, the little mouse type thing that Wheeljack found. Why? We had pages or so of Quake and his backstory and this battle he was involved in. Not relevant. It just doesn't appeal to me. I find myself turning through the pages faster and faster each issue just to try and find something interesting. There are some interesting bits. And one of the key highlights for me, I have to say, is Megatron's explosion. Well, the explosion at Megatron's rally. He's there, being political, stirring up trouble. As this explosion goes off, Megatron gets thrown clear, then gets fired upon. Somebody is behind this. Is it an assassination attempt? What is it? What's going on? And for me, I have to say, the way this will unfold is far more interesting than Brainstorm's death. No real interest in that. It just got thrown in. Nothing's happened with it. The Autobots really do come off looking incapable of doing their jobs. Considering they aren't even at war, no. What I think, though, about this explosion, and I've mentioned this before, I'll expand on it a little more here, is it's a put-up job. I think Megatron has set the whole thing up. I think he's got some of his cronies to come along, set up a small yield bomb, shoot at him. I mean, if you look, the explosion does him no damage. The laser shots or phaser shots, whatever they are, just ping off his armor, and then Ironhide kind of summed it up in the next issue. Staying alive and escaping. Megatron and his friends were really lucky. I'm not buying that. They weren't lucky. It was a setup job. Designed to promote Megatron's political agenda, to make him the victim, to get him more political credence, to stir up trouble, to stretch the Autobots too thin. Yeah, I think it was a put-up job, and I should really look forward to seeing how that bit of this story develops. Similarly, we finally have the Autobot symbol appear on an Autobot in issue 4. We don't see the symbol of the Decepticons, or the Rise, or whichever they are. Seems to be the same thing with a different name, to be quite honest. Not buying it much into that. But this guy is waving some kind of Decepticon-ish symbol around on that flag. So, finally seeing things move a little faster. Like I said, I hope they move things forward more quickly, because at the moment, it is too slow. There's too much sidetracking stuff, there's too much stuff, too much content and pages about things that aren't relevant, that are never going to be touched on again, which is really frustrating. You want to read the plot and some possible sidelines that may or may not unfold later. This is just dull. For me, the personal low light, and I shall finish here because overall my impression of this comic is on the low side rather than the high side, is the introduction, for no reason whatsoever, of Cyclonus. Now, Cyclonus was forged by Unicron in the Great Battle in Transformers the movie, which is 4 million years from now. Let's not forget that Optimus, or Orion, or whoever, and the Ark set off from Cybertron, crashed into Earth, lay dormant for 4 million years, plus 20 or so years fighting against the Decepticons. It is the year 2005 and all that. Cyclonus comes along, so we're 4 million and 20 years, plus the length of this series, early to have Cyclonus. Either it's a time travel blip and they better start explaining, or it's just lazy writing to stir up interest. And I use the word loosely. I'm with Prowl on this one. I'd rather have Starscream. You know how bad it is? I almost wish Starscream was here. That's how bad it is. He might actually have been useful for once. So, not convinced. We'll continue to purchase the comic book every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when it comes out. But no, I feel my patience wearing thin. I might not get past issue 6 or 7. Let me know your thoughts. Please do subscribe to my channel. I should be updating every 2 weeks or so with the latest review. Might throw in some other items here and there. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye for now.